Hey guys, this is God of Politics. I'm going to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But as you can see, we are just 25 subscribers away to getting to 1,000. That is the big goal that I'm setting. And we are very, very close. As you can see, we've gotten 186 subscribers in the last 28 days. We just need 25 more to reach that big 1,000 number. But in today's video, I do want to talk about quite an interesting topic, and that is the possibility of Democrats actually losing their majority in the Senate before the 2022 elections. Now, in the 2022 elections, in the midterms, I think that Democrats are favored to keep the Senate majority. I think that the only way they would lose the Senate majority is if they lose in Pennsylvania, lose in New Hampshire, maybe also lose in Georgia, and even, in a worst case scenario, they could lose in Arizona and Nevada. But I think that those things aren't necessarily likely. I don't think they're likely to gain seats, but I think that they will keep the Senate, probably at around 50-50, which is what my prediction is right now, losing New Hampshire and gaining the state of Pennsylvania. But there is a very real possibility that they could lose the Senate before 2022. And there is this New York Times article. I'm not talking about Justice Stephen Breyer or anything. It just does have some interesting facts here at the bottom that are part of the article, which is in, a little bit of relation to Stephen Breyer. This is an opinion article, but of course, who controls the Senate does make a big difference on who's going to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. So it does talk about some facts here over how often the Senate can change hands, or how often a senator dies or resigns, or, some other extenuating circumstance that would cause a change in the composition of the Senate. So it says, alarmingly for Democrats, if history is any guide, the odds are quite high. This is talking about the chance of them losing a senator. So it says, since the end of World War II, 27 of the 38 Congresses have featured a change in the party composition of the Senate during a session. The probability that such a shift may occur during this particular Congress may well be even higher than that. At the moment, no fewer than 6 Democratic senators over the age of 70 represent states where a Republican governor would be free to replace them with a Republican should a vacancy occur. 5 other Democratic senators represent states from which a vacancy would go unfilled for months until a special election to fill the seat was held, which would hand the GOP control of the Senate at least until that election, and likely for the rest of the current Congress if a Republican wins that contest. In the case of Wisconsin, such a vacancy might not be filled until 2023. So it says, all things considered, the odds that Democrats will lose control of the Senate in the next 22 months are probably close to a coin flip. So that is a very interesting analysis from that New York Times article, and it is talking about the chance that a senator, dies or resigns or gets sick and can't serve anymore. Some, like I said, an extenuating circumstance that would cause a change in the makeup of the Senate. So this is an article from Ballotpedia talking about the process for which senators are replaced if there is a vacancy. Now, in 37 states, which are listed right here, the U.S. Senate vacancies are temporarily filled by gubernatorial appointment. The appointee serves until the next statewide general election is held. The winner in that election serves out the remainder of that term. So, the situation with this is if a senator was no longer serving from one of these states, a governor would appoint them, and then they would serve until the next general election, which, would probably end up being 2022 at this point. And you can see that there's a number of states here, and a number of very important states, because, West Virginia, of course, has a Republican governor and a Democratic senator in Joe Manchin, which, still boggles my mind that there's a Democratic senator in West Virginia, but I digress. So, West Virginia has a Democratic senator, Republican governor. Montana has a Democratic senator, a Republican governor. Pennsylvania has a Republican senator, a Democratic governor. Ohio has a Democratic senator and a Republican governor. Now, it does list North Carolina here, but North Carolina is an interesting case because while they do have a Democratic governor in Roy Cooper and 2 Republican senators, Roy Cooper would not be free to appoint whoever he wants. You would have to appoint someone of the same party, and this, differs by state. Some states have the law like this, some states don't. But in North Carolina, it does exist, and it would make it much more difficult for Democrats to have a replacement that would favor their interests. Kentucky did recently change the law. Before, the governor could appoint someone whoever they wanted. Now it's more like North Carolina. They effectively have to appoint someone of the same party. Maine, you do have a Democratic governor and a Republican senator. And let's see if there's any other states over here. I don't believe that there are actually. Georgia is an interesting state because you've got 2 Democratic senators and a Republican governor. So then you've got this here, which says a special election. So it says the remaining 13 states, of course, this is 37 states. So the remaining 13 states require that a vacancy be filled in a special election within a specified period of time. Of those, each state has specific rules detailing whether an interim gubernatorial appointment is to be made and when the special election must be held. So not many of these are going to be, important in the sense of the change in the composition of the Senate. But, for Louisiana, for example, Democratic governor, 2 Republican senators, they would have a special election no less than 11 weeks after the governor's proclamation of a special election. Massachusetts, where you've got a Republican governor, 2 Democratic senators, 145 to 160 days after the vacancy occurs. And then the next state down here would be the state of Wisconsin, where you've got a Democratic governor and 1 Democratic senator, 1 Republican senator. So it says between 62 and 77 days after the special election is ordered, unless the vacancy occurs between the second Tuesday in May and the second Tuesday in July in an even-numbered year. In that case, the vacancy must be filled at the regular primary and general elections. Now, in some of these states, I believe the governor can appoint someone to fill the office temporarily until the special election, but some states they can't, and I believe there's 5 of them. There's Oregon, Rhode Island, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, and North Dakota. So that is the 5 states where they wouldn't actually be able to appoint a temporary office holder. Oklahoma, I believe, though, is trying to change that. But what is notable about this is that say there is a vacancy for Tammy Baldwin's seat, or if there was a vacancy for Jack Reed or Sheldon Whitehouse's seat in Rhode Island, there would be 50 Republicans and 49 Democrats. What that would mean is that Republicans would have the Senate majority, and until there's a special election, Republicans would maintain that Senate majority. And so there's a number of scenarios where Republicans could actually gain the Senate. There's through the special election route, where a governor can't actually appoint someone, or there's through the route of a gubernatorial appointment. Say there was a vacancy in Georgia, Brian Kemp could appoint the winner or appoint a senator to that vacancy. Same thing in West Virginia, same thing in Montana, and in that scenario, they would be able to hold that seat probably until 2022, which would give them the Senate majority, or the Republicans the Senate majority until 2022. And that would make it much more difficult for the Democrats to win it back, because Democrats aren't going to win in West Virginia with a candidate other than Joe Manchin. They're not going to win in Montana. They're probably not going to win in a state like, maybe they could win in Georgia, but it is going to be difficult, much harder than if you have an incumbent. And so it is difficult to do. Maine, it could happen, it could happen the opposite direction as well, like in Maine or Pennsylvania, but it does spell trouble for Democrats, because we're looking at the overall makeup of the Senate now. Say there's a vacancy in Montana, that goes down to 50-49. Republicans would appoint a Republican to that seat. It becomes 51-49. So there is a very real chance that Democrats actually do lose their Senate majority. And this is a map of the senators that are in states where the governors of the opposite party and would be able to appoint a senator that they would be able to appoint a senator of the different party from which they are right now. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of them, or actually 11, because Bernie Sanders is an independent caucuses of the Democrats. 11 senators represent states where 11 Democratic senators represent states where a Republican could appoint a Republican to that seat, some as an interim replacement with a special election, some until the next general election. So, it would be very, very interesting to see what actually happens. In that scenario, of course, nobody wants any vacancies to happen. Nobody wants anybody to die or get sick or anything like that. But there is a very real possibility that may happen, and it could be bad news for the Democratic Party, because, there are many Democratic senators in states that are not very Democratic. Montana, Ohio, and West Virginia are just 3 of them. Georgia, 2 Democratic senators there. Arizona, 2 Democratic senators there. You do not want to have a scenario where, you have to have a special election, or you have to have an appointment of someone that's of the opposite party. And so, while I don't think it's going to happen, like I said before, or it easily could happen. So I know that this is a shorter video, but I did want to talk about the possibility of it happening because, like I said, it's a very real possibility, and I will continue to cover it to see if it actually ends up happening. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.